Hey MGTOWs, this is Vention. I decided to, pardon the mess, by the way. um, I decided to bail out of Seattle, and it's currently 52 degrees and raining there. And I took off to the, pardon me, pardon my hair, I just got out of the shower. I actually used my shower in the camper. I'm gonna go dump the tanks today anyway. Wow, man. This is sort of an industrial area of this permaculture site. Basically, the technology of permaculture is an amazing thing. They use all kinds of fancy techniques to cause food to just pop out of the ground. It's really nuts. And all of that stuff comes out of the ground tax-free, and I'm very fond of that idea. And basically, I'm up here working on a dump truck that is that they badly need, so that they can do a big project. They got a couple of fascinating projects going. They're gonna do things like what do you say? They're gonna build a sauna, and they have all kinds of hugel beds that you don't even have to irrigate. You can and food just pops out of them. It's a fascinating thing. But in order to do their next project, which is a big greenhouse, which is basically, it'll be a solar greenhouse, but it'll be earth sheltered. So even in December of Montana, in theory, they should be able to actually produce some food like in December. And it's a fascinating little device. Theory and technique, where they have a lot of earth around the greenhouse, and that really regulates the temperature and keeps the cold weather from freezing the plants. But when it does get really cold, that really frosty cold air drops into this big trench that they have below, and that leaves the hot part of the greenhouse able to be used. But instead of leaving all that cold air trapped in that trench, they're going to experiment. They're going to improve the design. They're going to have this big pipe down in the trench, and then they're going to paint it black and expose it to sun to suck the cold air out of the trench and keep everything circulating once the sun is going, and that'll recharge the heat in that trench. And that is a fascinating thing. But in order to do that, they need a dump truck. They have a little dump trailer, but it's just not adequate for the job. But this thing, if I can get it running, which I did yesterday, this will really carry a freaking ton of dirt. I don't know about all that yards of dirt. I'm not really a heavy equipment guy. I'm more of a transit and RV and heavy diesel truck guy. And I've never worked heavy equipment. And this dump truck is sort of a cross between heavy equipment and a truck. It had the craziest friggin' thing. They had the batteries out, and this is what they call a series parallel switch. I've worked on one in my life about 30 years ago. And I had to do a lot of research to figure out how to wire the thing in. And then once I did, I was able to hook it up to the starter, and when that plunger hits in that series parallel switch, it basically shuts the whole vehicle's electrical system off, and then joins the two sets of 6-volt batteries, which are 12 volts each, turns it into 24 volts and sends it all to that starter, and it cranks like a freaking dream. And I fired it up yesterday. For a while, but it hasn't run for 2 years, and there's a little water in the fuel. And then I was draining this fuel filter, and it sucked really seriously to a it just went like that when I opened the drain. So that means either this fuel filter is restricted, or there's a restriction in the fuel supply line. Good times. I've always enjoyed gadgets. I really, you know, I mean, I like permaculture. I like computers. I like gardening. I like so many different things. But when it comes to machines, that was my first love. It's like that Star Trek: The Next Generation, episode called Relics, where they dug Scotty up out of an ancient transporter on a crashed ship, and Scotty was interacting with Picard and Geordi and all that stuff back when it was a good show. and he was advising, you know, when Geordi offered to give Scotty access to all the manuals and information about the D series Enterprise, Enterprise E. I'm not sure. Anyway, the big Enterprise in the Next Generation. And Scotty was saying there was a time when I could tell you how fast the ship was going just by the vibration of the deck plates, right? There's a time when, and basically you really fall in love with something when the fire really is in your heart, right? It really just causes you to excel and exceed normal human limitations, and you can do things with that drive and that force and that power that's just almost as if you're just on this big. It felt, when I was a younger man, it felt a lot like surfing, like I was on the front of this big wave, and I was just, all that power was behind me, and it was just rolling forward, and I was just part of that wave, and there were things that I could do, and I can still, that normal people just can't do because they just don't have that drive. And and he was saying that when Geordi was offering him the technical manuals, he was saying, "Oh, I can't start off as a raw cadet." There's a time. I mean, you fall in love with a ship or a technology or something, and other people can sometimes expect you to feel that same drive for other projects, right? But when there's like times when you just don't have it, right? You can like not a friend, but an acquaintance of mine back in the military. He was trying to sleep with this fantastically ugly woman. She was freaking vile. Nice enough girl, but my God, she was ugly. And he, being like the player type, had an opportunity for sex, and then he tried to have sex, and then it just went, and he said, "Oh, sorry, there's nothing here." And he was embarrassed because he couldn't get it up, as they say, right? But anyway, that's a lot like that, right? And he was saying, Scotty said, "I can't start off as a raw cadet. I can't fall in love again. When you get a certain age, you just cannot fall in love again. And when it's gone, right? But fortunately for me, machines are here, and they're still as fun as they have always been. So I can tinker with machines, and this trip has been nice. And it's still, I'm going to stay here for a while. I don't have any reason I have to leave because the cancer clinic's freaking closed. So I can't go get my freaking cancer treatments. So can't go get my PET scan. So I'm going to just hang out here until civilization wakes up enough so that I can get some medical care that I want. So I'm going to hang out here and work on this dump truck. In Seattle, it's 52 and raining, and here in Montana, it is freaking gorgeous. You can hear the wind in the trees, and there's a river about 1/8 of a mile that away, and you can hear it, and it whispers you to sleep at night. And it's I slept like a friggin' log for 8 hours, which is something I generally can't do. I need to be physically active more than I am in order to really get good sleep. And I can do that here, but I can't do that at home. But of course, when I'm fasting, I have to take it easy. So it's a conundrum. So anyway, I used 90% of my water now. So I'm going to go ahead and load the camper back up and take off to a nearby rest stop, dump the tanks, then run into Missoula and get some fuel filters and a few other things. And then I will raise that truck from the dead. Then they'll be able to do their project. Good times. And note, this is an industrial area of the site, but it's still got a lot of natural beauty in it. A little bit irritating once in a while when it gets cold at night and the barrels start going bonk when they start sucking up or the air inside starts shrinking. And basically with that dump truck, they were thinking that there's a problem with water in the fuel, and there is. But the problem with the water in the fuel is because this is, permaculture people oftentimes don't have a lot of money. So they don't generally keep the fuel tank full on this big dump truck. So they throw in 5 gallons and do a few jobs. And then basically at night, the air inside that fuel tank shrinks and then sucks up all the moisture in the air into the fuel tank, and then it condenses to the bottom of the fuel tank. Then eventually the standpipe in the fuel tank starts sucking up the water, and then it gets into your fuel filters, and then it gels up, and then you're not going anywhere. So I'm going to try to suggest maybe a smaller fuel tank or something. They did pull one fuel tank off, so there is just one, but basically what they need is like a 20-gallon mini fuel tank that is more appropriate for this. And then they don't have to put 900 gallons in there just to keep it from, keep the air out of the fuel, basically. So I'm going to run into Missoula. I'm going to dump my tanks, and then I'm going to get some parts. And there's a naturopath up there, and I'm going to see if I can get set up for vitamin C IVs up there, because the friggin' cancer or the naturopath office at my, where I usually go, they're still closed, and they haven't opened the IV room yet. So, well, supply and demand. If they don't want my money, I will bring it to Montana and spend it here. No problem. I can play that game. Okay, MGTOWs, I'm gonna go load this beast back up. Oops, hope I didn't show my license plate. I'm gonna have to stick a couple more stickers on here now that I've been through Montana and through Idaho and into Montana. I don't know if that's just driving through it. I don't know if that counts, but oh well. I'll stick the stickers on anyway. I was considering sticking like 90% of the stickers on, then walking around like really tough, saying, yeah, I've been everywhere, yeah, I'm so tough, yeah. It's kind of like just like wearing one of those big weight belts that the weight lifter people wear, and then just wearing it around. Yeah. There's something outright, hands down, over the top hypocrisy that I've always found quite funny. Okay, MGTOWs, you have an awesome day, and I'm gonna have an awesome day. And don't get married. For God's sake, don't get married.